There we go. Okay, ready? Chair Levering,
I'm here.
Commissioner Bolin, Commissioner Connolly, Commissioner Kimmelshoe, Commissioner McGreehan,
Present.
Commissioner Sherman, Commissioner Shepard,
Present.
alternate Commissioner Betts,
Here.
alternate Commissioner Bradley,
Here.
alternate Commissioner Johnson,
Here.
and alternate Commissioner Deborah Lucero.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you all. I want to make a brief announcement before we continue on the agenda. I'm noticing from the attendee list that there's a number of people who have shown interest in the past in the Tuscan Water District item. That item is not on our agenda today. So if that's what you're here for, I'm just letting you know that that item is not on our agenda today and has never been suggested to be on our agenda today.
It is, however, mentioned in your executive report.
That's fine. And there'll be a time for that as well. I just wanted to let everybody know this is not a hearing for Tuscan Water District today.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Number 2 is the consent agenda 2.1, approval of the minutes. I will let you know that I have one change to make. It's on page 3, where we indicated that a participant in our meeting, Kathy Brazil, was a Thermalito resident. We would like to strike Thermalito resident. That's my only change. Are there any other changes on the part of the commission?
I have a few text amendments I'd like to offer.
Please.
Also on page 3, the third line or third paragraph down talks about Steve Lucas. That sentence is rather awkward. I think it should read Steve Lucas clarified that Linda Draper is referring to, and then the rest of the sentence.
Thank you.
Also, 2 further paragraphs down where Scott Brown, our legal counsel, is indicating something. That sentence also is in a little bit awkward. It should state Scott Brown, LAFCo counsel stated that, and then the rest of the sentence.
Thank you.
And then moving on to page 6 of the minutes. 2 paragraphs above where the bold print says Commissioner McGreehan. Again, that's an awkward sentence. It should say Commissioner McGreehan stated, assuming that the commission authorizes staff to proceed, he has trust in Steve and staff, and then add that they will come up with the appropriate documents and process to assist.
Got it. Thank you, Al.
Last but not least, page 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th line down or 5th paragraph down. It's an incomplete sentence. I would just suggest that you include the word is after the word report. And that's the extent of my suggested amendments.
Thank you, Mr. McGreehan. Are there any other comments on the minutes?
If those are the only ones, this is Carl Everins, I would move approval of the consent agenda, noting all of the changes that we've just been made.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Chair Leverin, second by Commissioner Shepard. Joy, could you call the roll, please? You're muted.
Chair Levering,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Lucero,
Yes.
Commissioner McGreehan,
Yes.
Commissioner Bradley,
Yes.
and Commissioner Shepard.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 3 is noticed public hearings, for which we have none this morning. So we will move to item 4, the regular agenda. And we will go to item 4.2, LAFCO file 2201, South Feather Water and Power Agency, Dunstone Drive annexation number 1. I will turn this over to Shannon Costa to give you the report.
Thank you, and good morning, commissioners. So this is a proposal to annex a single parcel and adjacent road right-of-way to the South Feather Water and Power Agency. The proposed annexation would allow South Feather to provide irrigation water to the approximately 20-acre parcel. The site is located on the west side of Dunstone Drive, south of Foothill Boulevard in the unincorporated Butte County area, southeast of the city of Orville. The property owner has indicated their desire to construct a single-family home at the site and is requesting irrigated water for the purpose of mitigating fire risk during construction. The proposal has the support of the affected landowner and substantially conforms to LAFCo policy. So staff is recommending that today the commission adopt a resolution concurring with the notice of exemption prepared by South Feather Water and Power, waive protest proceedings pursuant to Government Code Section 5663, and approve this project. If you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Any commission comments or questions? Seeing none, hearing none, I will ask that anybody from the public wishes to ask any questions. If so, raise your hand. I'm not seeing anybody. So if there is a motion, that would be appropriate time now.
I move that the
move-
commission adopt resolution 01-2021-22, Exhibit B, approving the annexation as recommended by staff.
Second,
Okay.
We have a motion by Commissioner McGree and a second by Commissioner Lucero. Joy, could you please call the roll, please?
Chair Lavrent,
yes,
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Lucero,
yes,
Commissioner McGree,
Yes,
Commissioner Bradley,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson. Oh, sorry, Shepherd.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joy. Our next item is item 4.3, LAFCO file 2202, South Feather Water and Power Agency, Long Bar Road annexation number 1. Once again, Shannon.
All right, thank you. So this is again a proposal to annex an approximately 34-acre parcel to the South Feather and Water Power Agency. The site is located on the south side of Lombard Drive in the unincorporated Butte County area north of the city of Orville. The annexation would allow South Feather and Water Power to supply domestic water to the parcel to support the future development of the site with a single-family home. Again, this proposal has the support of the affected property owner and substantially forms LAFCo policy. So staff is recommending that the commission adopt the resolution concurring with the notice of exemption prepared by South Feather Water and Power, waive protest proceedings pursuant to Government Code Section 5663, and approve this project.
Does the commission have any questions for Ms. Costa? Seeing none, anybody in the public now would like to ask any questions of staff or comment? Again, seeing none, it would be appropriate to entertain a motion at this time.
move to approve,
second,
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Lucero and a second by Commissioner Shepherd. Joy, if you could call the roll, please.
Chair Lavrent,
yes,
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Lucero,
yes,
Commissioner McGree,
yes,
Commissioner Bradley,
Yes.
and Commissioner Shepherd.
Yes.
Thank you.
And for yet a third time, item 4.4, LAFCO file 22-03, South Feather Water and Power Agency, Pioneer Trail annexation number 1. Once again, Shannon.
Thank you. So again, a proposal to annex a single parcel and adjacent road right of way to the South Feather Water Power Agency. This site is located at the end of Pioneer Trail, south of Mount Ida Road in unincorporated Butte County, east of the city of Orville. The annexation would allow South Feather Water and Power to supply irrigated water to the site for the purpose of mitigating fire risk for an existing residential use. This particular project did receive one public comment from a neighbor who voiced their concern over the county's cannabis cultivation regulations. So we did explain that those regulations are enforced by the county and that any of those concerns should be directed to county staff, but I did include that comment as an attachment to this report. This proposal has the support of the affected landowner and it substantially conforms to LAFCo policy. So staff is recommending that the commission adopt the resolution concurring with the notice of exemption prepared by South Feather Water and Power, waive protest proceedings pursuant to Government Code Section 5663 and approve this project.
Are there any commission questions of Ms. Costa?
I have a question for Shannon. Shannon, assuming we approve this annexation per your exhibit, your map, it looks like there's still a couple island areas that this agency should consider, or should they not? What's LAFCO staff's position on that?
We don't typically, I guess, do the island annexations. We don't try to fill in the gaps for like water districts. They can be non-contiguous as we annex. And so the reason we kind of do them on a one-by-one basis is just as people come to South Feather to request the service, we do that for them. And so that gap that you see up there north on Pioneer Trail, they would have received a notice of this annexation. And if they had any intentions on pursuing annexation to South Feather, this could have been the time for them to reach out. We didn't hear anything. So it would be up to them to pursue it.
Yeah, this is Carl Evans. It's a good point. If this was a municipality like a city, that you're correct. We would want to make sure that we would pick up an island because it makes a difference about police protection, fire protection, sewer delivery, and all the other things that would be involved. But in this case, with a water district, the law isn't as demanding as far as islands.
Thank you both.
I have a question also. When these parcels are being annexed, are most of them on domestic well? And so will they continue to use domestic well as South Feather Power and Water, or is it delivered differently? I'm curious about that.
For parcels that receive irrigated water, they usually come via a ditch. And then this particular parcel is requesting domestic water. So yeah, they would, the Butte County Environmental Health Department requested that they abandon their well appropriate to their standards.
And when a well is abandoned, you have nothing, LAFCO has nothing to do with that then that's all on Butte County to make sure that that well is actually abandoned.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
If there are no other commission questions, I will open it to the public. Are there any members of the public on the line who would like to speak to this matter? I'm not seeing any hands. So we would entertain a motion if you would.
Move to approve as recommended.
Second.
A motion to approve from Commissioner McGrean, second from Commissioner Lucero. Joy, would you kindly roll, please?
Carol Everett,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
yes,
Commissioner Lucero,
Yes.
Commissioner McGrehan,
Yes.
Commissioner Bradley,
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Last but not least, in the South Feather show this morning is LAFCo file number 2204, South Feather Water and Power Agency, ratification of extension of services determination for 8170 Greer Avenue. And once again, Ms. Costa.
Thank you. So for this project, staff is requesting that the commission ratify an emergency extension of services request that was issued on August 11th. The request was to allow South Feather Water and Power Agency to haul bulk water to a site located at 8170 Greer Avenue in the Palermo community of unincorporated Butte County. So typically for these emergency extensions, we ask that they're followed up by an application to extend services by that agency and are often conditioned upon annexation to that district. At our September 2nd meeting, this commission gave direction to staff to work with our local affected domestic water providers and State Water Resources Control Board to simplify our process for emergency extensions for bulk water delivery due to our drought situation. This particular project, the applicant located on Briar Avenue never followed through with South Feather, so they never did receive a bulk water delivery, and therefore the district did not follow up with an extension of services request or any sort of annexation request. So today we're just asking that you ratify our emergency extension and that you would do that without the condition to annex this parcel, or that they would need to follow up with any particular extension of services application. So if you have any questions, I can answer. This is a little bit of a different situation that we're sort of trying to figure out, and as we go and create a better process for if this is going to be a need moving forward.
So can I clarify, are they receiving emergency water deliveries?
No, I spoke with the representatives from South Feather last week and they never heard back from the applicant. He had indicated that his well was going dry, but South Feather is not delivering bulk water to him.
I would just like to add that, this whole situation with hauling water is somewhat of a moving target. It involves a LAFCo process. It involves the State Water Board. It involves the affected local agency. So as Shannon indicated earlier, we will continue to reach out. We have meetings with South Feather next week scheduled, and with the other district managers to discuss this item more. But this one was sort of the first one in, and it gave us the idea that we need to do something on a more collective basis. But we'll report more back to you next month on that progress.
Steve, how do you coordinate or do you with Butte County on wells going dry?
We don't have any direct process, if you will. I do pay attention to the drought task force, and I do communicate with the Department of Water and Resource Conservation. But we don't have a direct process that we link to the county on that right now. We wait for, obviously, before either a district or an individual comes to us and indicates they need emergency water service. And at that point, we would notify the agency and the county of that situation. But we traditionally have gone through environmental health.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just as Carl Evans, this is consistent, though, with the direction that we gave you before, which is to assist in this emergency situation when the districts come to you and say, hey, we need authority to provide emergency water. This is almost the same first cousin, if you will, to failed septic systems. We don't want to stand in the way of people not getting water if we can help it.
Absolutely correct. Any other questions of staff from the commission? Seeing none, I will open this up to the public and ask if any members of the public would like to comment on this item. I see no hands, so I will entertain a motion to ratify this action, albeit not as necessary as it once was.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Lucero and a second from Commissioner Shepherd. Joy, if you would call the roll, please.
Chair Leverance,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
yes,
Commissioner Lucero,
Yes.
Commissioner McGreehan,
yes,
Commissioner Bradley,
You can just hit your space bar, Larry.
Commissioner Bradley,
That's not, oh, yes.
Commissioner Shepherd.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Next up is item 4.6, which is the Paradise Irrigation District Options Study. That's going to be me. You have received a memo, a fairly thick packet, not the memo itself, that just is a further, this has been on the commission's agenda regularly, either through the EEO report or as an agendized item for some time, over a year now. We are now at the point where the option study has been released. It is the options identifications report, to be clear. This has been a long process. I know some of our commissioners have participated on some of these calls concerning the irrigation or the options study. We have been consistently vocal in this process, and most importantly, dealing with three things that I identified in our staff memorandum. The first one is there's a basic belief in language throughout the options study that continually talks to water quality and water availability. And I have consistently said to the group as a stakeholder, and in both written comments a month ago and written comments again that I submitted that are part of your packet, that we have always indicated that this has never, in our opinion, been about water quality or quantity. This has always been about a fiscal concern for the district's financial health. Recognizing that immediately after the campfire, that was not necessarily the case, but we are at a place now where the district is adequately and soundly providing both quality and quantity of water. So I continue to ask that this study be modified to remove that type of language. I don't control the study, mind you. All I can do is provide comments on behalf of the commission. So that's item number one. The second item.
Before we move on
Yes, ma'am.
from that, why are these words being utilized? What is behind that, in your opinion?
I cannot adequately probably answer your question, not being involved in the process, but somewhere between the state making the arrangements with PID to provide funding, and then the ultimate project description being developed by Sacramento State Department of Water Services, and then ultimately GEI consultants who prepared it. That's the language that came out of that process. We had never had any opportunity to necessarily modify that because none of us or the stakeholders prepared any of that. We were essentially at the mercy of what was brought to us. I recognize that the consultants look at this as a comprehensive view of all possible factors. They will tell you that this is just part of the mix, and if those things are not a problem, then they will be addressed as such. I don't know if I agree with that, but I continue to push that language that deals with quality and quantity of water be removed, because I just really don't feel, and the commission has indicated in past meetings that they agree that they don't feel that is a particular concern. This should really be focused on the financial capabilities of the district. I hope that's a satisfactory answer.
Yeah, no, thank you. I was just curious.
And the second item is probably the one of most significance to folks around this county and all of us that have been involved in this process for some time, is the continued language that suggests that county water transfers north and south of the Delta remain options in the study. Again, as I indicated, the consultants will look at that as just another option that should not be left off the table. I can't entirely disagree that from an outside perspective, somebody from Sacramento might think that. But here locally in Butte County, I don't think you'll find a single person who agrees that we should be transferring Butte County water south or north of the Delta or out of our county at all. And that has been a consistent guidance I've received from the commission and been providing the consultants and through the stakeholder meetings for some time. I can't tell you if they'll remove it or not, but in my comments back on this particular study, I again made the comment that these items ought to be removed. We don't consider them viable options, and we'd rather not see them to continue be in print to confuse people that might even be something we would consider.
So Steve. Oh,
Yes,
sorry.
sir.
No, just finish your 3 items, and then I have a question about what you sent as commentary on our behalf.
Okay. The third item really deals with local decisions. And while they refer to vaguely what the process might look like, I have always argued on behalf of the commission and through the stakeholder process that we ought to make it very clear that changes of organization that involve PID in any way, the town of Paradise, the city of Chico, these are LAFCo issues. This is LAFCo jurisdictional territory, if you will. And I keep stressing that there ought to be specific language in the study that indicates that local control is the goal and local control should be through the Butte Local Agency Formation Commission. My fear is, and I've shared this with the stakeholder group on multiple occasions, that we all know the State Water Board has a lot of horsepower, and there's several state laws that refer to this, that give the State Water Board the opportunity to forcefully consolidate agencies, a process that bypasses local control. I very much think that the commission has indicated to me that they oppose that. I oppose that. So those are the 3 primary points. My comments are there. The rest of them are not as perhaps significant as these 3. That's what I wanted to share with the commission this morning. So Commissioner McGrean.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you on behalf of the commission for the commentary you submitted to this draft report dated September 16th. I see apparently what you sent was just a table response to the report via email. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That is the format that they requested all comments to come back in.
Oh, they did.
Yes.
So maybe it's a minor point, but I was hoping that in that email, and it probably does include this, is it identifies you as LAFCO executive officer responding on behalf of LAFCO and us, because that's really important. And then the other thing, I'm curious, your staff memorandum on this agenda item was crafted and dated September 30th. And it's kind of interesting to me, at the very end of your memorandum, you talk about the consultants having their public workshop that same date, September 30th. Did you participate on our behalf in that workshop?
I did, and I
Okay.
verbally shared these same comments as that process unfolded.
That's good to know. I really appreciate you sharing that on our behalf. I share your concerns. I think I'm fearful of where this is going, and I just don't know if a lot of the public really knows much about this process. Don't know what to say.
This is Carl Everns. I'm following up on the comments. As Steve, I think the commission is certainly supportive of what you're doing and how you're doing it. I think too that on item number 3, we also need to emphasize with them that we have independent scrutiny of this process through the municipal service review process, as far as the fiscal health of the Paradise Irrigation District. Plus, as you point out in your administrative report, there's a new group that's Hold Our Water that has obviously some ideas as to what ought to happen, and their thoughts, whether they're good or bad, need to be included, obviously, in this process. So I think, as far as direction, that at least from my perspective, that you should continue to do exactly what you're doing as forcefully as you can do it, to let them appreciate that if the Paradise Irrigation District, either by itself or in conjunction locally, is going to continue to function, which it should and needs to, that all those decisions need to be made here in Butte County.
Yes, sir. Are there any other commissioner comments or directions that they would like to offer?
Well, I would just like to say I have been attending the stakeholder process meetings, and I was at the same September 30th meeting. And, you know, there is quite a bit, I would agree with Mr. McGrean that there is a lack of participation, if you will, by the public. I think that they are unaware of a lot of this, even though we all know how hard it is to get the public's attention. And I think there's been earnest attempts at that. But I'm wondering also about the consolidation, the letters, because, and I think Tom Lando is on the call, but there were different letters. You know, there was the first letter that basically required PID to enter into a study, a consolidation study. And then there was a second letter and a third letter that defined that even more explicitly and brought up Cal Water as an alternative. And I'm just wondering, you know, how LAFCo, or if LAFCO even weighs in on those kinds of things, because to me, it seems that it's a bypass of LAFCO.
So I'll respond to that really quickly. As referring to those letters that initiated this from the California Department of Finance and subsequent letters, those were entirely between those state agencies and PID, and we had no involvement in those, either in the creation or any responses to those letters. In fact, I only recently saw the latter two letters. I was always working off the original letter that was issued in 2019, which was extraordinarily vague. And then the responses from PID, which I'll say preceded Mr. Lando's tenure there, they provided further elaboration, which I don't know if that was originally part of the intent, but that's the way they went out. But we had nothing to do with those. And like you, Supervisor Lucero, we just have to react to the best we can as we become aware of it. I do know Mr. Lando is still on the call. If once I finish this, we can open it up and allow him to speak. Are there any other commissioner comments at this point? I will close this or open this up to the public review. Anybody in the public who would like to comment on this item specifically, if Tom, if you are available or wish to comment, please raise your hand. Tom, and you are with us, Tom. Please, you have the floor.
It's nice to see somebody else technically challenged.
Mr. Lando, are you with us? If you are, we can't hear you. You're getting there. Unmute yourself.
All right, how about now?
You're good. Carry on.
Right. No, I agree with both what Deborah said and you said, Steve. We went through a very long process and back and forth with the Department of Finance to negotiate the 2-year grant. Initially, as was stated by both Deborah and you, the condition was to explore consolidation. At our request, they made that broader, and that's the second letter that you received, which is, quote, the option study. Certainly, we understand and agree that as this comes out, that LAFCo has a very, very significant role. I will say there was never discussion of consolidation with Cal Water. There was discussion in the letter about an intertie to Cal Water, which is still one of the options. But certainly we fully understand, I believe the consultants fully understand that LAFCo has a very significant role both in PID's viability, but also in any changes to organization which may occur. Again, this is clearly a study that's being headed by Sac State, and they've hired GEI to do the work. So we are a stakeholder participant, as is LAFCo.
Thank you, Mr. Lando. Did that effectively answer your question, Ms. Lucero?
Yes, yeah.
Are there
Quick
any,
question for Tom, if I may.
please?
Tom, the letters, subsequent letters that PID sent on to the Department of Water Resources, is that my understanding? Were those letters ever shared at the time they were generated and sent out with the stakeholder group as a whole?
I'm not sure what letters you're referring to. The letters from the Department of Finance and our conversation with the Department of Finance occurred before the option study started.
Oh,
There was
before.
no stakeholder group.
Okay, so they're dated before the process
Yes.
started.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
sir.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Lando?
I do have one other question. I know, Tom, at the meeting the other night, it was brought up about the environmental option of sending raw water down Butte Creek to help the fisheries. Is that something that that will be added to that study as an option, as an environmental option?
It is definitely one of the things that will be explored. I think everybody, and this is a very broad statement, I think everybody's in favor of it. It's a question of how it affects the viability and potentially the sale elsewhere within the county. But the answer is yes, Deborah.
Okay.
I think it's a great option.
All right, thank you.
Does anybody else wish to ask Mr. Lando a question? Seeing none, I'll leave you up here for a minute, Tom. I'm going to go to the remaining people that are on the call, the public. Is there anybody else who has a comment or concern that they would like to share? I don't see any hands coming up. So I just want to provide, I'll close this item to the public. I just want to add in terms of process, which I understood a little better after the September 30th meeting. So the options identification report was just that. It was an attempt to identify the options. Next up, as a part of this sort of collective options study, is the evaluation and ranking. That is intended to be the draft out on November the 12th. So about a month from now, there should be some evaluation of each of one of those options with a proposed date of December 17th for a final report. I will continue to participate and I will continue to report back to the commission. So you can probably expect to see this on your agenda for the next couple of months. If there's anything else that the commission would like to direct me, that's all I have. Okay, thank you. Okay, sorry, a little technical issue there. I was moving Tom back to the attendees. Moving on, public comments, number 5, public comments on items that are not on our agenda already. Are there any public comments that anybody would like to share? If you would please raise your hand. I'm not seeing any, so we will move on to item 6, reports and communications, which is 6.1, the executive officer's report. That will also be me. Item number 1 is the administrative item that deals with special district seats. I just want to let everybody know, as you see in the report, that once again, we've gone through multiple cycles of elections and ballots to gain the 21 districts we need for a quorum. We do have them, but it technically does not close until November 5th. So I'm not going to make an announcement, but we do have sufficient votes to move forward. We will make that announcement hopefully at our next November meeting. In the meantime, Mr. McGrann and Mr. Bradley will continue to serve until such time we report back. Not on your agenda this morning because it just literally happened. And I just want to let you know that LAFCo is meeting at the same time we are meeting, which is why Mr. Connolly is not with us. He was reelected to his seat to represent the Northern region. It was a 12-0 vote. And with that, he stays on the LAFCO Board of Directors for an additional 2 years, and he will be elevated to vice chair. Just so you know, there's a progression at LAFCO. You just move through the seats. So another term, he will be chair of LAFCO statewide. So I'd just like to congratulate Bill. He's done a wonderful job representing not just Butte, but the entire Northern region, and is very outspoken on LAFCO. So I think we all appreciate his service. Moving on.
Are you saying, excuse me, are you saying that Bill's outspoken?
Just sometimes. Projects and general notes. I will go through each one of these items individually, and I will ask for comments on each one as we go. I think that'll be the easiest way to go. My first item is the Paradise Water Group. As I reported last month, that this group is in existence. It's called Hold Our Water, but what's new is they have contacted me, a representative has contacted me and asked how they go about initiating a process of creating PID as a subsidiary district of the town. While we have no role to play in that at the moment, other than to provide information to the public, they have requested a notice of intent to circulate a petition. And that petition would be requesting essentially to LAFCO then make application to LAFCO to create a subsidiary district of PID to the town. And just really quickly, without getting into the mud about this, is what that means is the district stays intact as an entity. It will have its own budget. It remains a separate entity legally. The only difference would be that the Paradise Irrigation District Board of Directors would cease to exist, and the new board of directors for the Paradise Irrigation District would be the town council itself. Other than that, it would function as an independent entity, just with a different governing body. That's essentially the ins and outs of it. I will continue to, I don't know if they'll follow through with that. I have no idea, but we will continue to monitor that and advise the commission as it unfolds. Are there any questions of me on that? Are there any questions from the public on that item? I'm seeing none, so I will move forward. Next item is new to the agenda, or to the executive officer's report, and that deals with the City of Chico annexation plan. While we have had lots of discussions about this over the years in a variety of contexts, and have made tremendous progress on removing the islands in Chico and annexing them into the city, most notably in terms of the press would be the Chapman-Mulberry annexations back in 2015, which were actually effectively annexed in 2020, a year ago. And then we've picked up a few other larger annexations since then, but we still have 4 annexation areas that we consider islands. And we believe they need to be prioritized by the city for annexation. So we continue to work on an annexation plan with the city. It is our goal as staff, and I will tell you that I have had many consultations with our chair on this, but our goal is to come up with an agreement that would be executed between the city and LAFCO that would require those 4 remaining islands to be annexed 1 a year for the next 4 years, or from the date of the agreement. That's our goal, and I will continue to work towards that goal. And I will probably be coming back to you in November with a draft agreement, at least from our perspective. I can't guarantee you that it will be agreed to by city staff at that point, but I do want to sunlight it at our November meeting. That's all I really have on that. I'll turn it over to Carl if he would like to add any other additional thoughts.
Well, yeah, I would, because I'd like to, especially for the new LAFCO members, a little background here. Chico, unfortunately, as it grew, ended up having many islands. And the reason that is a critical problem is that for fire protection, police calls, police and fire calls, public works, as far as maintenance of roads, drainage, and sewer and so on, it's a burden on the county because the county is not able to adequately deal with these items, and they appropriately belong in the city. So we've worked diligently year after year after year and to correct that. And during the administrations of earlier city managers and councils, we've made great strides. But there are these 4 areas that, and they're fairly large areas that are islands that need to be annexed, that they're surrounded essentially by the city. And they continue to be problems. And so a little background again, the city has, and the Chapman-Mulberry, I'm going to give you a little history there. Obviously, you may not be aware, but they kept claiming that they weren't providing sewer service into the Chapman-Mulberry area. And if they were just a few items. Well, Steve and his staff fortunately were able to go through the county with a number of septic systems that they have to get a permit when they destroy the septic tank. It wasn't 1, it wasn't 2, it wasn't 3, it was 62 units that had been put in. And when we caught the city doing that, we were able, and it hit the press in 2015 and 2014. And that's why I'm providing some historical perspective here. We were able to meet with the city council members, and they agreed, rather than have us go back and in effect fine them for failing to go through the process, they agreed to apply for the annexation of the Chapman-Mulberry area, and we agreed to go ahead and phase it, and that we would wait several years before we processed it. I think we need to do the same thing with these 4 parcels, 4 islands. And so as a result, I've encouraged Steve to be aggressive, because these things need to be cleaned up. And the city of Chico really doesn't have any excuse other than financial for not doing it. And it does create a financial burden on the other citizens of Butte County. And it's not fair to the people who live in those islands to not get city services and to have good roads and fire protection, police protection that's direct from the city because they're part of the city. So that's just some historical perspective on it. And obviously, it will impact, I think, as the city moves forward. I almost brought it up when the city wanted to annex, when the car dealer went up north. As it turned out, he didn't end up going north, but they hurried up and annexed the area so they could run the sewer up to the north so they wouldn't miss out on sales tax. And as far as the municipal service review of the city of Chico, they're really not looking out for all of the citizens that should be in the city of Chico. And I have real question as to whether or not any large annexation should be done by the city of Chico until they clean these islands up. So anyway, that's my comment.
Carl and Steve, could you name the 4 islands, please?
You're testing my memory. So one of those islands, I'm trying to go around the horn, is the Centennial Avenue area, kind of adjacent to the Middle Park in Chico. That's one island. It's fairly large lots, as those of you who live in Chico know. There's a lot of horses and so forth there. There's the Forest Avenue Island, which has been there for quite some time. That's between Highway 32 and East 8th Avenue, right next to the park. There's an island there. I will mention that one has had historically high groundwater and septic system issues for years. Again, those are mostly large lots that are they were created in the county, and some of those folks still have large animals as well. But I might have to ask Shannon to help me. One of the islands is the East Avenue at Highway 32. We call it the Gwynn area. Shannon, please help me with the last one, if you can remember.
Alani, Chico Canyon, West East Avenue and Glen, and West Sacramento.
Oh, and West Sacramento Avenue, there's it's, most of you know it for Big Chico Creek Estates, but we're not quite talking that far. This is an area that is just right up close to the city. It's bordered by West Sacramento and Bidwell Avenue to the south. It's an area of very high density development. There's a small, I don't want to say small, quite large development in there, very small lots. They just recently got laterals in there for sewer as a part of the nitrate plan. And they have contacted us as well to seek annexation. So those are the 4 remaining areas. I will tell you that there was one more. That was the one that some of the commissioners might remember. We've done multiple extensions of sewer service to an area off of Glenwood Avenue, bordering on Highway 32 to the north, Glenwood to the west. It's about 40 acres or so. The city just on Tuesday night, the city council initiated that annexation pursuant to a requirement we placed on those sewer connections. So the commission will be seeing that annexation coming forward probably in December, I'm going to guess. So those are the 4 areas plus plus Glenwood. I will add, just as an editorial comment, the city council had no discussion about the annexation to Glenwood. It was over and done with in about 3 minutes, which is tells us that the city council is probably not that opposed to these annexations, which makes us wonder whether or not they're really aware of the 4 islands to begin with, which is the purpose of bringing this agreement forward. Does that answer your question, Ms. Lucero?
Yeah, I mean, I think, annexation was talked about a lot with Chapman, Mulberry, but we really haven't talked about these 4 areas in many years that I can recall.
Well, our hope is that we're at a point now where we can express our influence on the city and its functions. So I think we'll continue to do so. And when I bring forth the draft agreement, I think that's our opportunity, the commission's opportunity to make it clear to the city council that we want this done. I will tell you that there's an awful lot of folks who have some development plans who also would not like to see them slowed down while we work through this. So I think there's a lot of wind at our back right now.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any, since I've been doing this consistently, are there anybody in the public who would like to comment on that item? I don't see hands, so we will move forward. The next item up is the Town of Paradise / City of Chico sewer line. For those of you who are not regular attendees, the EO report is updated monthly, so I generally not go back and start at the beginning of everyone. I indicate what's new from the last meeting. So this has been a process. Obviously, everybody's aware that the town is considering sewering its downtown area, and this preferred solution would be to pipe that sewage to the city's treatment plant. So in your report, you see an update we received from the town monthly about the progress on that. And one new additional thing that I did not have when I wrote the report was just this week, we received from the town, the administrative draft section of the EIR for the project description. Now that's just an internal administrative staff level consistency review to make sure that the project description is adequate. Shannon and I have reviewed that. We may or may not have some comments back, but I'll say our general belief is the project description so far addresses our concerns. And Ranju, we're interested in the LAFCo perspective here. So when we say our concerns, it's just how that might reflect or affect LAFCo.
Steve, does that go to Butte County too?
Yes, the update from Mark Maddox, the Public Works Director, goes to both the county and to LAFCo.
Okay.
As for the administrative draft project description, I can only assume it also went to city staff, but I can't confirm that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any other commissioner comments on that? Seeing none, I will ask any members of the public if they have any comment on this item. Please raise your hand. Okay, I see none. So I will continue monthly to have this update, and if should it rise to something where the commission needs to take action, or I'm feeling uncomfortable with what I might do, it'll be on your agenda as an actionable item. Next item up is the proposed Tuscan Water District. Again, this has been on our agenda or in our EO reports for quite some time as this project unfolds. What is new from last month is and you can read this, but the Vina GSA essentially was asked for comments and chose not to provide comments. They made that decision in closed session, so I'm obviously not privy to what was discussed. But they decided to not provide any comments back to LAFCo at this time, ostensibly because they're still developing their groundwater sustainability plan, which until it's adopted, I think they don't feel as comfortable talking about any of these other issues at this point. So that's the best I can tell you on that item. Butte County Board of Supervisors also discussed this item on September 28th, voted 3-1 to support the proposal, provided a letter to LAFCo as an official comment from the county, along with other county department comments, but without the specifics of the county department comments, which really aren't our policy level, they're just technical issues. The county board basically proposed or supported the idea, and with certain conditions, and I won't read them all to you at this point, but essentially it was to ensure that LAFCo does not allow any transfers of water outside of the basin, and that projects be consistent with the Vina GSA. And so these are things we've already, as staff, have obviously considered. We appreciate the board's comments. And so at this point, we are still in the process of providing an analysis, drafting the staff report, which will be then presented to the commission at a public hearing. I know there's a lot of questions about when that might be, and a lot of speculation in social media about that. I can tell you that I have consulted with our chair, Mr. Leverins, many times over this. We look like we're having at this point, scheduling a public hearing for December 2nd of this year, barring any other unforeseen issues that might come up. I will tell you, it's very difficult to not only find a date given the analysis as it unfolds, but we obviously also have to find a location. It's been made clear to me that if at all possible, if the pandemic continues to allow us to meet, we will find a place to have this meeting in person. I think that's the preferred choice, and I would agree that this is a significant public issue. So we would very much intend to have this as a in-person public meeting.
Let me, if this is Carl Evans, on that issue, I feel very strongly, given the public interest and the interest of people that are in the proposed district, that a in-person meeting, giving people the opportunity to be heard, I think is important. The Board of Supervisors chambers, because of the physical way it's been configured, is limited now to 5 supervisors, and it really isn't conducive to LAFCO will be with its 7 members. Plus, I'm hoping that Steve will be able to find a location, maybe in Chico or Durham, where we can meet and allow the public to also attend. I think that hopefully between now and then, maybe at our next meeting, we can have more information available to the public, so that when we have the hearing in December, we'll be dealing with facts and not opinions without facts.
So this is just an update on my part. There's no action to be taken today. I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody has about the process to date. And I don't see commissioner, so I will go to the attendees, open this to the public. We have a person, her name is Pam. Pam, I'm going to move you to the screen. And I will ask Pam, if you could identify yourself for the commission, and then please share your comments.
Yes, hello, good morning. My name is Pam Stoser. Sorry, I forgot to change that name on my Zoom. Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment and ask a question also. I was at the Board of Supervisors meeting for the Tuscan Water District issue, and it was very well attended. Many speakers. You know, I was taken aback a little after 4 to almost 5 hours of public comments. There was little to no discussion by the board. It was already a done deal. It was like they were there listening to us, but not really hearing us. You know, I'm talking about those who have issues with the Tuscan Water District. So my question for LAFCo is, when you receive the recommendation from the Board of Supervisors, do you also receive a docket that includes all the public comments? Do you review those public comments? And what do you do with when you have a public meeting with the comments? How are they reviewed? Are they actually literally read and reviewed and documented, or what do you do with them? Thank you.
I will answer that question if you would like, Mr. Chair. So with respect to the comments from the county, I just want to make this abundantly clear as a clarification. What the Water Commission had done, what the Vina GSA has done, what the Butte County Board of Supervisors has done, along with the 20 some other local agencies we asked for comments from. Historically, traditionally, comments go to the staff of the agency, and that agency staff then provides comments back to LAFCo. I understand this issue is far more intense in terms of the public participation, but what we asked for from those agencies were simply comments as to where they have any concerns about this project, comments on this project. Mr. McGrean understands this process intimately, I believe. And so the fact that these became full-blown public hearings at these other bodies had nothing really to do with our request. We needed comments from those bodies. So what I have, Ms. Stusser, is comments back from the county, which are nothing more than the comments that we requested. What occurred at those meetings need not be transferred to me, and there's no requirement for that to be transferred to me because those were not our hearings. We were simply asking for comments. With respect to the LAFCo process, we will at some point agendize this. I suspect at this point it'll be December 2nd. We will then publicly notice this. We will provide a newspaper notice, which is the requirement under the law, but we will go one step further and provide individual mailed notice to all of the affected parcels. At that point, all comments that come in related to that project will then be documented, saved, and provided to the commission for their consideration. Everything that happened prior to that, while it's interesting and maybe pertain to this item, from an administrative standpoint, those were comments submitted to those agencies in effect to influence whatever comments they were going to make to us. So our process is a completely separate process from all of those others, and we will follow it as we always have for the 20 some years I've been doing this. Hopefully that answers your question.
Am I still unmuted?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, thank you for that answer. If you could just address how you handle public comments in front of the LAFCo at the LAFCo meeting. Do you review each comment? Is there a time between receiving all the public comments and when you make some kind of decision? What is that process?
Again, I'll repeat what I said just prior. We will request comments from anybody. That includes the public, any other agency. When they come in, we will review them. I will incorporate those comments, maybe not individually within my analysis, but the subject matter, but the individual comments that are provided to us will be included in the commission's packet for the commission to also review. I will summarize those comments in the staff analysis.
Thank you.
You're welcome. somehow when I let you in, Pam, Amy Raymond came along on this. And I don't know, Amy, if you had comments on this as well.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. This is Amy Raymond. Yeah, I guess I do still have comments on it. And my concern is that the petition, and you don't have a copy of the public of those petitions online. You have to go into your office to get to see those. But when I viewed that petition, it was not compliant to the LAFCo approved notice petition format. There are missing elements on this Tuscan petition. So I would hope that you would address that. And secondly, I still have concerns that the application that is posted online currently on your website was altered after the Butte County Water Commission meeting and somewhere around September 3rd, so that the application that was reviewed by the affected agencies is different than the application that was provided to the Board of Supervisors for their review and approval, and that there was no mention that that application was altered on your website, nor was there a document of the differences between those two applications and a justification. As I understand it, your standing is that the current application, as is on the website, is not substantially different. I would like to see the differences and your justification at a point by point of why that did not affect the review of the affected agencies that Board of Supervisors relied on and that Butte County Water District relied on. So those are my concerns here.
Thank you. I take those under advisement. This is an item on our executive officer's report. This is not the appropriate place, in my belief, to discuss this. This will be evaluated in the staff analysis. And I think that's part of the concern that I have had all along, is so much of this discussion has occurred outside of the commission's realm. And historically, traditionally, staff reports are the analysis that provide the commission, provide the public a complete comprehensive view of the project, which I don't think has occurred yet because we have not had the hearing yet. But nonetheless, I appreciate your comments.
But I have a question on that though. How does the public actually interact with the commission like this if you just do it at a hearing and everybody gets 3 minutes and then LAFCo makes a decision and boom, it's done? Especially on something like this. And my understanding also on LAFCo is that the initiation to form a district by landowner voter petition, there's a lack of clarity as how to proceed. There's a conflict between the Principal Act and LAFCo petition requirements and the Water Code 34-151, holders of title to a majority of land within a proposed district boundary capable of using water beneficially, and LAFCO law. And I understand LAFCO law is a less arduous standard to meet. And that's apparently why these petitioners voted to do this or are trying to do this. But I'm wondering how that will be addressed or if it will be addressed.
Again, I appreciate these comments, and I will say this, and I think our attorney online, Ms. Birch, will agree that this is not the appropriate agendized item for this discussion. This is an overview and an update of what has happened and how we are moving forward. It is not a discussion of the project today. And I would refrain from answering those questions at this point.
Okay, so I'll just ask again, and maybe the attorney can answer. When does the public get to weigh in on this? If this is under your executive report, when does the public have a chance other than a 3-minute comment at a public hearing?
I can answer that. There are multiple opportunities for the public to participate, and they can submit written comments at any time. And all of those are considered by the agencies that are involved in the decision-making process. And those answers to these questions can be prepared and included in the staff report. To say that a member of the public only has 3 minutes to participate in this hearing, I think is a misstatement of their actual ability to participate. And Steve's right. During an update on kind of the status of this item is really not the appropriate time for Steve to be addressing these very technical and legal questions that will be fully analyzed as those comments are received from the public.
So does that happen at the meeting, or does that happen after the meeting? Does it happen before the meeting? How does that work?
Well, like I said, the public has the opportunity to submit written comments at any time. And those comments are evaluated by the agencies that are going to be making a decision on this proposal. And that can happen at any time. I think it's a fundamental misunderstanding of the process to say that every concern must be raised in that 3-minute window, and that the commission has then literally moments to consider that and analyze it and make a decision on it.
This is Carl Leverns. I'd like to interject for Deborah's. Deborah, I think to clarify what you're talking about, the very issues that have been raised by several of the speakers here today are all legitimate issues. As part of the process by the staff now and the legal staff, they will look at all of those and they will be incorporated in a discussion and dealt with the staff report. The staff report then will be available long before the actual public meeting. And in the past, when we've had, I can tell you historically, as unfortunately I've been here historically for a long time, when we have something that's reasonably controversial, and not only do we try to deal with those issues at the time, but we have no trouble continuing an item for a month or even 2 months while we analyze information that may be new or we hadn't really thought through. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the hopefully the people who are concerned, and obviously there are a number of them that are, will be submitting these very issues to the staff now. They clearly have done it verbally, but if they can do it in writing, it's even more effective. And the staff then will incorporate that analysis at well before the hearing.
I think the reason why people are so skeptical is because of the last 2 hearings that were held at the Water Commission and the Board of Supervisors. So they're wondering if public comment really does have an effect or if it's answered.
Well, but what they were being asked for were, frankly, their opinions.
Amy didn't express an opinion. She just pointed out several deficiencies in
No, the supervisors and a recommendation, and how they got there is up to those organizations. But you're familiar with the LAFCo process, and I think in fairness, our staff's pretty thorough.
I've always found that to be the case.
And they will be thorough in this case also, especially if they're given the opportunity to hear all of these concerns, because some of them appear to be legal. Marcia and Scott will be earning their money.
Yeah, well, I think that the question, that I see in this is what I brought up, and am wondering what takes precedence in a decision like this between the Principal Act, the Cortese-Knox, and the Water Code, and how all of that is. It seems like there's a lot of untested areas there, at least what I'm reading across the state.
Well, you've raised the issue, and obviously I have to plead total ignorance because up to now we haven't had anything to review, and so I'm totally open on that issue. And obviously, the staff will have to take a hard look at that and get a legal opinion, perhaps. It may very well be deemed that the application is not complete because of that issue. That's certainly an issue. But, you know, we just have a process that we have to go through.
Thank you. Since I'm here for the first time really participating, obviously, I wanted to get that out as a concern of mine as an alternate and today acting as a commissioner.
Well, and I want to say that you're asking good questions.
Mhm.
Okay,
Welcome aboard.
thank you.
I'm going to move on from this item. I don't see any other commission comments. I'm not going to touch on any of the other items. I'm going to jump to the LAFCo section because that's the next newest thing. I just want to let you know, and I've attached to your report, there's a LAFCO bulletin that discusses various educational opportunities that are coming up, being sponsored by LAFCO. I just want to bring two of them to your attention that are, I think, important. One is on November 3rd. It's going to be state of the state in terms of extreme water and fire issues and what that means to LAFCO. So I think that should be a very interesting webinar to participate in. If you contact me about any of these, I can make sure you get registered. There's also, you can register yourself. And then just as importantly, on December 8th, for those of you who know, the LAFCO canceled its conference again this year due to the pandemic restrictions, meeting in large groups. But we're going to then still hold regional roundtables for each region. So that one will be on December 8th for the Northern region from 8:30 to 10. Again, I will provide you with links to those. Those will all be Zoom meetings as well. So take a look at that list. If you have any questions or interest, just let me know or Joy know, and we'll get you signed up for those sessions that you wish to participate in. There are no costs to us at this point, so feel free to use them as you wish. I also participated, UCLA's Office of Water Resources, Institute for Water Resources had asked LAFCO to participate in a webinar entitled Wildfire and Water Supply in California. I did so, and it was fascinating. A lot of conversation about how do we, about resiliency and fire protection, how do we help harden water systems moving forward. It was a good session. I have attached to you as attachment 3 in your report what the outline of that was. I can certainly offline talk more about this with anybody who has any interest or on that. Legislation. We are now just starting the new legislative session. Both myself, Mr. Connolly, and our legal counsel, Scott Brown, are all on the Legis Committee for LAFCO at the state level. And so we will continue to do that. The three things that are coming up that are of relevance to us are clarifications to the Service Extensions Code 56133. We've been talking about this for a decade or more, clarifying some language in there that exemptions are solely at the discretion of LAFCO. It's implied but not explicit, and that's what we're trying to make the change for. We don't want people self-exempting. Sponsoring a bill to rewrite the protest provisions. This is an extraordinarily complicated effort. It involves the state SDA, the Special Districts Association, so our sister organization, if you will. So essentially what we are trying to do there is condense all of the protest provisions into one area of the law. It's very difficult to follow at this point. It's in multiple sections. That part of it, I think we're moving forward. We will successfully be able to run a bill, perhaps even an omnibus bill on that one. And then there are another part of that, which is the second bullet point, which we do not have agreement with Special Districts Association on, which relates to the protest provisions as for things that are initiated by LAFCO. To make it really brief and simple as I can, is almost every other entity that comes forward in any project that comes in front of LAFCO, that protest level is at 25%. Suddenly, when LAFCO initiates it, it drops to 10%. Which makes it extraordinarily more difficult for LAFCO to implement actions related to special districts, i.e. consolidations or dissolutions. It's not necessarily been an issue in our county to date, but around the state it has been, and we don't believe there should be a different standard. But CSDA so far has dug in on this issue and seemingly is refusing to budge. we'll continue to work the problem, and we may bring special legislation on our own behalf if we cannot find consensus with county or the State Special Districts Association. That's all I have in the executive officer's report. So unless there's any questions of me from the commission on any of those items that I missed, I will move on in the agenda. The next item is correspondence. We have none. Number 7, administration. This is an opportunity for the commission to provide any direction to the executive officer on administrative matters relating to the operation of the commission. So if anybody has concerns or questions about that, please speak. Seeing none, our adjournment will be to Thursday, November 4th, 2021. At this point, I believe it'll be a Zoom call unless we can find a location that allows us to meet in public. That's all I have for the meeting today. If there's Mr. Evans is fine with that, I will adjourn the meeting and stop the video.
Oh, I have a question. Do we need to renew the ability to have a Zoom meeting, or is that going to be covered? The one we passed goes through the 5th, so it's okay as far as the 4th, then if we have to have a Zoom meeting.
Yes, sir. We staggered that on purpose.
Okay, all right. Just wanted to make sure that we didn't have to have a special meeting.
Thank you. Thank you all for participating this morning.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.